Hey, so this will be a bit of an unscripted video because I want to talk about my loadout. Now it's almost a week ago, so I had a bit of time to think about my loadout and what I would change for the next run. First up, we have the Ronin Respirator with the night vision. I basically used the night vision for like 10 seconds in this run, so it was a bit of a waste. That said, it's very good in Shoreline on the way to Terminal because well, it's quite dark on Shoreline, so that's helpful. In general, my idea was that I wanted to give the best viewing experience, which obviously a night vision helps in the darkness. But overall, I think I would not use a night vision again if I had to do Terminal again. So basically, if you are doing it, I would suggest you don't use a night vision. The Ronin Respirator was not really tested, so I did not get any headshots as far as I know in the Terminal run. So basically, yeah, we can't say for sure that it's enough protection or we need more protection because, well, we did not get any headshots. Proflex did a really good job. Hearing with them is quite nice. If you are using a different helmet, like a ULAC for example, then I would suggest you use obviously a better headset, like the Comtech 6 or something like that. But for me in general, it worked out pretty well. Armor-wise, I was using the 6B45 with the ultra high molecular polyethylene plates, the class 6 plates, and I used side plates as well, so the class 6 side plates as well. I would do the same thing, so would not change anything with the armor. It worked out quite fine, so I would do the same thing again if I had to do another terminal run. As for weapon choices, my MDR, my trusty MDR, did a very good job. I would obviously bring it again. The ammunition I bring in for the gun was a bit tight, so next time I would probably increase the amount of bullets I bring for my MDR and maybe decrease even the max or the amounts of bullets for the second weapon. But having a second weapon is very important. So I was in a couple of situations where not reloading and instead swapping to the second gun actually saved my life, or at least it made the situation easier. So a second gun is very good. My choice for the M4, I don't like it as much after the run. The thought process behind the M4 is that many of the Black Division guys use 5.56 guns, so basically you never run out of ammo if you use an M4. And that was the thought process behind taking an M4 and 60 round max for it, so that I could just pick up ammunition from the Black Division once I kill them. As for grenades, this was a massive mistake. I would never bring impact grenades again. I almost killed myself with an impact grenade. So I need to make this clear. This is more about my incapability of properly using the impact grenades. It's not that the impact grenade itself is bad. But in general, I'm not a good thrower. I'm not a good grenade user. So using these impact grenades just felt unnatural to me, and I would probably not use them again. I would just bring more of these Vox 17 grenades. As for healing setup, was fine. Nothing to say about that. Here we have the rest of the backpack that we couldn't see previously. There's no need to talk about the rig really, just pick the rig that you like. The MPPV was great for me because it has a lot of space, but in general any rig probably works. So let's talk about the other choices I made. So I brought plates into the raid. Basically this was a class 6 plate as well, but I had to drop it on Shoreline because I was attacked by a squad. So I brought two high molecular polyethylene plates into the raid, class 6. To swap out my plates. So I would say this is not necessary because you can get plates of Black Division, but I think it's a convenience thing. So you don't have to think about it, you just have your own plates, and if your plate gets damaged, you just swap out the plate and you're ready to go. I think it's a good choice to bring them, especially on your first run. Then we have food and water. This was a massive mistake. I should not have brought food and water because there's so much food and water in the initial starting area. I even had SJ12 to cover my food and water needs. So yeah, basically this was a huge waste of space. As for the ammunition, again in a second run I would probably bring more of the 7.62x51, like the M61 ammunition. I would probably bring more of that and less of the M995 because I basically didn't use it as much. And then about the long duration painkiller, I think it's a good choice. I think a Golden Star serves this purpose quite well, so I would probably bring it again. Last but not least, you can see that I have a toolset and a bunch of stims in my container. So the toolset first. So you need to understand that you need to fix an electrical panel on terminal to actually use the pumping station. And there is a toolset on the map that spawns every time and you can collect it. But it's much simpler that you just bring your own toolset so that you eliminate the thought process about finding the toolset, thinking about picking it up. You just have it, and then if you see the damaged electrical panel, you can just fix it, and you're done. So that's the reason I bring my own tool set. This is especially important if you go into terminal as a squad, because then more panels can be damaged. So it's good if everyone in the squad has his or her own tool set. So next, let's talk about the stims. As you can see, I have opened my first injector case right now. So I have like 4 Propital loose stims and then 3 additional in this case, and I think 1 more in the next case. So in total I brought 8 Propital, 9 if you count the one that was on my hotbar that I used on Shoreline. The next go around I would probably bring an additional Propital, so 10. The reason for that is that on terminal, the first 4 minutes of the run, or 4 or 5 minutes of the run, you don't have your own gear, so you cannot use Propital at all. So once you have your gear, you have about 40 minutes left in the run, and Propital is about 4 minutes in duration. So having 10 covers the entire run, and then you can use Propital on cooldown, which I think is the best choice for painkilling solution. Again, as you can see in my example, there is the possibility you get attacked on Shoreline, which means you might use 1 Propital there, and then you would need to bring like 11. But I think 10 is a good number. In addition to Propital, as you can see here, I have 2 SJ12 and actually an additional in the next injector case. These SJ12 just serve the purpose to solve my food and water solution. An additional reason why bringing extra food and water, as you can see in my backpack now, was a bad idea. Probably not something I would do again if I had to do this run again. Okay, now we can see the second stim case as well. So as you can see, I talked earlier about this. I have an additional Propital here, and as you can see, I have an additional SJ12 here. So now about the stims that we haven't talked about yet. So we have 3 ETG in total and 2 blue blood in total. These are basically combat stims that you need to use if you are heavily attacked or if you're low on life. And I think I would probably bring only 1 blue blood the next go round, and rather bring either an additional ETG or an additional SJ6, because having stamina was more of a problem than actually dying to Black Division or being shot and bleeding. So the second blue blood was basically a waste of space. And then you can see there are 2 mule stims. These are obviously there to help carry the weight. My backpack in the raid were like 70 kilogram or something like that. Then we have SJ6. I have 2 of them and 1 Trimadol. These are basically there to help you with the final sprint. As you maybe have seen in my terminal run, that I run low on time at the end, and using an SJ6 and sprinting towards the door was quite important. And consider what I experienced in this run, I would probably bring a third SJ6 the next go round. Last but not least, we have the Meldonin. This was like a mistake on my part. I should have used it at the start of the run. Obviously having more strength and endurance in general as your PMC is very beneficial. So yeah, I should probably just use that as soon as I pick up my gear. So this was the entire loadout. Basically what I would change is no night vision, no blue blood, probably a different gun compared to the M4 because I really didn't like it as much, and 1 additional Propital so that I don't have to rely on my long-term painkiller for like 4 minutes of the entire run. So I hope this loadout guide was helpful to you. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking and subscribing. See you in the next one. Bye bye.